Welcome to Joe's Astrology, and this is the birth chart for Taylor from the Mormon Housewives. And someone mentioned this show to me recently, so I checked it out, and this is the first thing that jumped out. This Taylor person's astrology, because I knew it was coming. And the first thing that jumps out here that I want to point out is this stellium in Scorpio. Because when I watch that show, that's the first thing I think about is Taurus and Scorpio, because that's what this is about. That's where these people come from. And we see here the South Node is in Taurus. This Taylor person, that's where her South Node is. And when I think of Mormon, the Mormon Housewives, Christianity, just Mormon people in general, it reminds me of Taurus. And the reason is because these people are about Taurus things: land, money, the good life, lots of children, just taking survival and just blowing it up and getting all the luxuries in life. And you wouldn't really think that from a Christian standpoint that wouldn't make sense, but that's what they do. And you always see, maybe not always, but a lot of times you see with these families and these people that there is a lot of Taurus / Scorpio in their chart. Now with her, you can see she's moving away from the Taurus and moving into the Scorpio. And sometimes with the South Node in Taurus, if you looked at another chart that had a little bit of emphasis on the South Node in Taurus and not so much the North Node in Scorpio, you would see someone who's more hesitant to do what she did. And what she did was she went all the way. And we can see this is before she turned 30, where the person who might have the opposite might happen later in life. But with her, it's definitely going to be before she turned 30. And we see that with the moon and Jupiter and Pluto all there in Scorpio, where she's meant to be headed toward. And that's all that this show is about. That's all they talk about is sexual things, swinging, different husbands, etc. If you've seen the show, then you know what I mean. And that is what that symbolism shows there. And to make things worse, I shouldn't say to make things worse, but to make things more interesting, she has this Mars at 29 degrees in Aries. Because a lot of people have similar feelings and they don't act on them. But with her, not only do we have that huge stellium on the North Node in Scorpio, but the Mars at 29 degrees Aries, this person's definitely going to act on it. And she's going to do it, because I'm watching the show and I really don't like how they portray it. I mean, I know it's television, but they really do portray it as this Mars at 29 degrees Aries shows like, I don't give a fuck what you think, we're bad bitches, and that kind of terminology, etc. It's very it's just not very nice, and I don't think that's how most people would approach this. The other thing that comes to mind is, really what we're talking about here is people liberating themselves from their conditioning, and everyone does it differently. And certainly not most people are going to do it this way. It doesn't have to be this way. Very out there and crude, etc. It makes it seem like this is a bad thing, when it's not. It's just part of life. And actually the Mormonism, the South Node, the Mormonism, everything that comes along with it, the South Node in Taurus is what causes this. Because it's usually a long time coming. And we can see she talks about this love of family. So we see these dichotomies here. This love of family, so still kind of attached to, where in their world, and the way they would describe it is, she's still attached. She's still going to be attached to what she's done in the past, her faith, etc. By maybe she wants to have a big family, wants to have a lot of kids, etc. So there's that there with the Venus and Cancer, and it's making a trine to this Jupiter. She has this nice Jupiter trine in water, Jupiter-Venus trine. And you can see there's no real squares to the nodes. We see the node here at 23 degrees. There's a sextile to that Uranus-Neptune conjunction. There's a trine to the Saturn in Pisces. So we can see there's no planets in Aquarius or Leo squaring the nodes. So this is like all systems go with this person. And then we see, to add on to that, the sun is in Gemini. We often see Gemini people with, she also has Mercury in Gemini. People with these Gemini placements will usually be in these situations where they get around a lot. Because they're curious. They're curious about other things. They're curious about information. And we see that Uranus that I spoke of is also making an inconjunct to that Mercury. And that can also give indication of crossroads or decisions to make. And, she's also big on the internet. So we see the Mercury in the Gemini, the Aquarius decan of Gemini. We see it making contact with that Uranus. We see all these planets down here, including the North Node, making the opportunity sextile to Uranus. We see Uranus making a square to Mars. It's just really aspecting a lot of planets. Uranus being involved in the internet, and we don't have the houses here. We don't have the birth time, so I'd imagine there might be some 11th house in this chart as well. But here's the thing, and this is the last thing that I'll say, is that this chart, this person, their life is about liberating from their conditioning. It's also about money. And those two things essentially is really what it will come down to. And my guess is that this person will, in the end, come back to her Mormon faith, and more likely than not, forget that all of this even happened. And perhaps we could say in the next life, there will be a square to those nodes, and she'll remain in this Taurus Scorpio conundrum that so many people find themselves in.